one of the best champions from Betsy, and when Giants have gotten to the late game, he's been one of the crucial carries on that Azir. So it's a good little target ban from G2.
Yeah, generally ahead in lane, 4-3 on the champion thus far this season. So one of his better picks. Camille now follows up. I'm wondering what G2, if there's anything that can be left open that they want to go for, or how much they've actually changed their strategy coming in.
Well, Skarner and Galio are the two main ones we have to look at. Sejuani ban kind of makes the Skarner first pick even better for G2, but then Giants can leave both open now and trade. So you get one, we get one. And then it always comes down to the next phase of like how much value do you have? Do you have any good counter picks available that you can grab against one of those OPs? Let's see if Giants do decide to just leave both Skarner and Galio up and just trade them, which is the common answer we see, and that is exactly what they're doing with a Varus ban, which is normally not a very contested pick here in Europe.
Yeah, it's something that Hjärnan's comfortable on, but it looks like G2, of the two options, do prefer the Skarner.
So now you have to almost, if you are Giants. Well, Camille's gone, so that does make the Galio-Camille combo. It does remove it, so there's a chance they don't grab it actually for Betsy, and they want to have him on a late game carry instead. I want to see what they decide to do. G2 can get Galio plus Skarner, that would be pretty dirty.
Very strong. We haven't seen Betsy play the Galio yet this season. Will they go for it here? What are they willing to give up? Oh, Djoko.
Because Zach is available.
Oh, the Djoko special.
Oh my. This
okay,
was
we saw it in
earlier.
LCK.
Yeah, it was played earlier with Predator and was actually really good. But that was picked also against the Malzahar because, again, Olaf ulti kind of counters that. Nothing has been shown on the other side, and Djoko is locked in Olaf.
To be fair, there's double reasons here. One, we've seen it as a counter pick in Korea. We have to assume Djoko's practiced it as well because it is, like, Djoko basically last season was an Olaf one trick. Every game he got Olaf, he made stuff happen in the early game. This is exactly what we wanted to see, Deficio, in terms of setting up Djoko for success.
And when we talk about our G2, they don't have to take Galio here because, again, the Galio-Camille combo is gone, which is one of the big ones you want to avoid, so they can just log in support. Zach is still open, which could get banned away by Giants now in the next... What am I talking about? This is Skarner already. I'm so used to him being banned that I didn't even think about him actually being a thing.
It's okay. It's okay. Update, though. Olaf is Djoko's most played champion, sadly only setting at a 3-6 record.
But he's active, man. He gets the early kills.
So active,
and
yes.
that's what Olaf can bring. Early game power.
And I like right now, from what we've seen in G2, they've got the standard power pick. Interesting now, Betsy is going to get the Galio. G2 didn't want to take it themselves.
Think about the combo here. Predator, Olaf with ult, rushes into the backline. Galio ult onto him. Gives him, you know, damage reduction, extra burst when he lands. Like, this makes sense on the side of Giants, what they're trying to do. They're trying to simply ignore also a potential Skarner ult to peel the jungler away. I want to see if they can execute it because there is a lot of big play potential. But if you fall behind with an all-in comp like this one, oh my god, it's so useless.
If you fall behind with an Olaf, we've seen what happens. You are like the worst Varus of all time. You throw an axe every 10 seconds and you walk away.
Will G2 ban Tahm Kench? So it's not there to ruin the day of Skarner ults.
Oh, we've seen this before, where G2 have opted to pick the Skarner with the Tahm Kench available for the opposite team. So they would miss it.
It could be a ban on their side, unless they're fine playing against it. I'm also looking at what PerkZ can play mid, because Corki and Cassiopeia are two of the normal answers to Galio. I want to highlight Talia as a potential option. Not something we see a lot in Europe, but it can be super active against a Galio. It can actually roam more effectively, often as well. And late game, it's hard for Galio to play against it in fights because you have so much sustained damage and it's knockback to burst down a full AP Galio, but Tahm Kench is left open here.
And we've seen the laning phase isn't terrible. Giants, I feel like they have to take it.
It seems like the obvious choice, but clearly G2 are like, we want you to take it because we're banning other supports.
Interesting, interesting.
That's surprising.
To be fair, if I had to worry about a Taric-empowered Olaf running at me with the Galio, I would also be concerned, but what champion that completely counters your jungler also is a little frustrating.
So let's see for PerkZ. Can be the scaling plus wave clear, so PerkZ is stuck mid while Betsy can make plays. Olaf will make plays. I do not want to play side lane in this game for G2 eSports because Djoko is there.
And I'm very nervous for G2 because it feels like they have now opted towards the late game with this Viktor lock-in. And if PerkZ gets behind, Djoko literally just runs him down under his tower every time. Gravity Field will not stop that Olaf. The defensive options for Viktor are very slim.
So I really like Cho'Gath here for Giants, because then they can use that to get early Barons as well and try and finish the game before G2 reaches late with Viktor and Tristana. Also very good at just, of course, as we've seen in all these fights, just ult the Sion or the Skarner and you kill them. Wow, it's a very low backline dive.
Okay. Look, man, in a world full of banner of commands, Giants are taking a different approach, I say, hoping that they don't build banner.
Oh, but no, they just want to kill PerkZ so badly every single fight. So many ways for him to reach the backline. Also, because Tahm Kench was left open, he will sit mid lane with Caitlyn while double TPs are sitting in the side lanes. And G2 can't make a play there. Viktor's stuck mid for himself, and Tahm Kench can just ult to a side lane, and Giants can go for tower dives. They can play super aggressive around the map with Tahm Kench ulti and Galio TP plus ult. They have a lot of mobility, a lot of movement speed, and a lot of ways of reaching the enemy backline, which is the entire goal of this composition. It's risky, but I like it.
I mean, this is what you expect. I love that Giants are willing to invest more into the early game, that they're willing to take a higher risk composition. G2 backing off, taking a back foot in this draft, saying we're the ones who are going to scale up. And now I feel like we're watching a survival game. Like, this is...
Yeah, once Galio gets his ulti, we're gonna see some top lane tower dives. They gotta get this Kled going. Kled, otherwise, you know, if he doesn't get ahead in the games, he offers so little. You need to play around him.
Does also make Olaf faster, though, fun fact.
Yeah, that's another nice bonus. That's what I'm saying. There's so much movement speed to just make sure they can always get in. There's also, of course, as we talked about in Champ Select, Predator on the Olaf. More movement speed.
They're going to be so fast. It's G2 versus Giants, folks. Battling it up. Giants can look to contest Misfits, putting themselves up to 7-7 with a win here. G2 can also move up to 9 wins.
Oh, we might get a level 1. 5 members of G2 with Braum in the front, rushing straight at Giants jungle.
You wanted more level 1s, Deficio. Here they are. G2 at least going to fight for some early vision. Want to know where Olaf is going to start. Usually it is always the blue buff. Very mana-hungry champion in the early game as he spams the axes to clear.
But so fast and so good early. It's one of the biggest snowball picks you can grab in the jungle, where if he goes potentially even for Righteous Glory, ooh, there he might sneak in behind. No, he's fine, he's fine, he's fine. Djoko has never been caught behind enemy lines.
Let's be clear here, that he knew exactly what he was doing there. He activated the shrine for Skarner. Skarner can see that, so... And Ruin, man, Ruin's
1-0 for Ruin.
In the battle of BM, Ruin is currently winning, folks.
All right, this game is all about killing the carries on G2, snowballing Ruin with Betsy and Djoko. Now, when Djoko plays tanks, as we talk about, normally you can just farm, he ganks. When he plays Olaf, you have to gank. That is really the one thing you're always looking for. I want to see if he goes Righteous Glory plus Predator.
How fast he's going to be.
He might get Ingenious Hunter as well, and then he's just like constantly able to speed himself up. Because he's obviously not running Ghost as a jungler here, so he needs these extra ways, plus the Kled ulti.
Ooh, and starting red buff, a little bit awkward there. We'll have enough mana to clear for now. Deficio, right now I feel like Giants, I mean, we talked about the early game, if they can execute, and we look at how G2 played their game yesterday, you can see how G2 do struggle when they fall behind, when a team has these good engage options, these options to dive to the back lane. Yesterday it was Rakan, today it is a Predator Olaf, but very similar scenario if G2 start to lose like they did today.
Yeah, they didn't have a chance yesterday. Just the moment they fell behind, the composition could never get enough time to reach late game. We have to see if Giants can do the same in this one, because as you said, when you opt into that Viktor here, and not a champion that maybe can match the roams, well, you are committing to the late game. That is your objective, that is your goal. We will most likely see the full mana Viktor build, where you go for tier, upgrade it into Xerath, you get mana from your Hex core, you probably get a Lich Bane, which also gives you 250 mana, and you just get a ton of mana to give additional AP and shielding for Viktor. And then suddenly, you become really hard to kill.
Definitely the case. Has the fleet footwork as well, just to survive here in the early laning phase. Still a bit tough, but PerkZ has the level advantage. Djoko now going for the counter jungle, but will be spotted out.
Still gets the camp for himself. Jankos can of course match and do exactly the same. Now Sion should be fine for most of this laning phase. He's not too scared of an early game Kled. It's not exactly the champion who just bullies every single lane. Very good though if Black Cleaver comes in, potentially for Ruin to deal with some of these tanks.
Yeah, now we look at the top lane matchup. Ruin currently, I mean, just getting pushed in by the Sion, right? Superior wave clear means that Wunder can, for now, at least keep pushing this tower out. Has the Biscuits mastery as well, and has opted for the Glacial Augment, not the Comet. Not worried about out-trading here. Just wants to keep the opponent nice and slowed down.
And I think once again, maybe get a few levels for Betsy. Djoko ulti maybe as well. They can start looking topside. Now Jankos early.
Fracture is going to connect. That is the stun. Follow-up. Is it going to connect? Ruin knocked back, but demounting makes it pretty easy to make it out of that one alive.
Trading from Betsy as well. Djoko still no boots, so he can't activate his Predator. Sad face for now. So no crazy level 2 or level 3 gank from Djoko yet. He is around mid, but PerkZ is
hungry. He's been pinged out as well.
Yeah, PerkZ is he's pretty safe. He's gone for cleanse on the side of the Viktor because he knows with the taunt coming in from Betsy that can be enough to actually just keep him in place and kill him. So I think that choice makes a lot of sense on his side. Jankos also around mid, and it is Betsy who's overextended.
And interesting enough, boots are coming in along with the challenging smite for Djoko. He's going to try to take away some Raptors, but could be in trouble. Djoko tries to make his way in. Could be too little too late. But Djoko's a guy I think we always have to talk about. We talked a little bit about him in pregame, but now with an Olaf in his hands, I feel like he's more of the center of attention than ever. You can see that activity. I don't know, do we expect pre-6 ganks coming in from the Olaf, or are we just waiting for that nice wombo combo with the Galio, with all those options to come once both champions have it?
I think waiting is fine, also because Jankos was pathing topside to protect, in case there was a very early gank for the Kled. I think getting a level 6 first, again, on your Galio, probably on your jungler, is perfectly acceptable. There's enough time for them to actually snowball. Did PerkZ steal a few of those?
Cannot tell.
All right. Meanwhile, bot lane, pretty much just a farm fest early, but
yeah, PerkZ stole the big one.
Nice for him. Targamas though, and Steeelback doing well in the laning phase. Tahm Kench is pretty good here with the Caitlyn, and we're just kind of waiting for Djoko. That's really the whole thing. G2's idea is so much scaling and just trying to protect the top side so Kled doesn't start snowballing.
And Kled continuing to push very far up. Jankos going to use the most of the movement speed steroid to push in for a little bit more. Ruin those.
Oh, this might be good for G2.
Wunder comes out. He's going to try to dodge his way away. Attacks off. Pocket pistol takes
stun.
Safety. The stun is going to come in, though. This could be enough. There it is. Knocked up. Is going to get taken down. One more auto. Gets it out. No! Roar the Slayer enough to take him down.
Meanwhile, bot lane here, Djoko, he knows he needs to do something on his Olaf pick.
Predator does come in. Wadid now trying to run for his life. Hjärnan backing off. Axe does connect. Gank, though, not working out quite too well. No CC immunity means one more auto would have stunned him up.
And this is a problem now for Giants. Yes, it's only one kill, but Kled can't afford to fall behind in these games. It's one of the reasons we see him so rarely. And Jankos, he knew this, and we just highlighted before how he's just playing topside. Protect, Wunder, be there, vision, potential counter gank if anything happens, and found an opening because Ruin was pushed so far forward in the lane. And that was a very good early kill for G2 to make sure that Wunder can go back, stack a ton of armor, because it's obviously in Olaf and Kled who's going to be hitting on him all game long.
Level 6s do come in now. Maybe
early
it's enough. But Wunder is now coming into the bottom side. May not expect this one. Targamas trying to run for his life, but he's just going to get hit up and knocked out. Wunder with the roam play. We said 1-0 to Ruin earlier. Feels like it might be 2-1 to Wunder now.
Yeah, big plays. Straight bot lane. Used the old Targamas. Had to flash early, but still not able to escape. Too slow in the Tahm Kench, and Wunder will have to go back and go top. So yeah, he will lose some minions, but securing a kill for his bottom lane.
Good look overall. Wunder 2-0 in this early game. You talked about him needing to get out from this difficult laning phase, not let the Kled snowball. Well, Kled,
yeah, but that's the thing.
Hit the tower.
Laning phase is not hard for Wunder. It's only once he starts getting killed by 3 people, it gets difficult. G2 have now successfully got him towards like a lot of early armor. He's sitting on 2 kills, and they know what the game plan is going to be from Giants. The Olaf, 0-0-0. Djoko have not been able to find a lane where he could get a kill.
Level 6 now, but out of mana, so he's forced to back. Bit of a difficult situation for him to be in. Blue buff, may have to give that one over to Betsy. Would still love to have it to accelerate the cleaner, keep him up. Not able to take much of anything.
The further we go into the game, the more defensive tools will come in from someone like PerkZ. See what happens bot side is obviously the Sion charging in. Targamas will have to try and flash away, but he's already initially slowed down and solo, and smack! Wunder secures that kill for himself. But as we talked about earlier with the Viktor, you know, the mana stacking build, he can get an hourglass late game as well, then suddenly he won't be an easy target. Djoko's looking for something.
Wants to get it, but just not working out. Uses the Predator as well. And right now, Deficio, I know we're still waiting for some level 6. I know it's not too late by any means. I mean, first full items haven't even come in yet for anybody, but G2 are playing perfectly to what they want to do. Stalling the game out, slow and steady. But even more, they're getting some of these active, aggressive plays onto the top side, helping Wunder, setting Wunder up for success.
Djoko will use some of the early game priority to get a Drake. As long as this top lane turret is alive and Wunder is able to farm, G2 are holding on. I like the early plan from Jankos. This will be a Drake, so Djoko still low in mana, so we'll have to go and secure that blue buff.
Actually, very nice for him to have the Ocean, though, because it's not going to get taken down while he's in the jungle, so he will be able to sustain mana on clear, and looks like he may now be able to give this one over to Betsy due to the Ocean Drake.
Now, Jankos is topside, but going for a dive here is risky due to TP and Betsy. He might do it anyway, but PerkZ is not there. I think you got to move your mid lane as well if you want to go for that easy, safe one. They can try, but we got to remember here that Ruin can stall for quite a while, and then Betsy can jump. But now we get the PerkZ roam here, so 3v1. Potentially 3v2, they can do it.
He does have the untargetable when he demounts, but he will be incredibly squishy once he loses Skarl.
Betsy should have been calling now that PerkZ is missing.
Looking for the 3-man setup. Wunder trying to find a good angle to set up for now. Tanks the first tower shot, trading aggro. Perfect play coming in. They're going to get the knockup, but immediately the Galio's coming in. Ruin is still alive. Baited out the Galio ultimate. Not able to use it aggressively. Still advantage for G2, but they're not done yet.
This is why you bring your mid laner, so you can potentially go for a second tower dive. Meanwhile, bot lane, we might see a play from Djoko. TP is still there for Betsy. Can TP in and join if they want to go for a kill and secure the turret, but he's currently wave playing top.
No flash for Wadid. A wee bit dangerous, but the wave is cleared almost instantly via Hjärnan. Topside not going to happen either, so...
Actually would have loved if Ruin just TP'd bot there. On the wave, kept it alive, could just force the 2 members from G2 back, and they could probably have killed turret. They have time though, they can eventually take it down, but it could have been a way for them to get a bit of early gold and speed up the game, because Ruin wasn't needed top, but he obviously had to keep TP as well, because Betsy could have been killed maybe if TP had been used bot lane. So G2 kind of knew, couldn't go for the tower dive. Ruin kind of knew he had to save it in case it happened, so he couldn't use it aggressively.
Does not work out. Now G2 just continue to get little advantages, things that they like. Trade on the top side going in their favor.
Bot lane tower gotta die though.
TP.
They have to get this first turret for Giants.
And I mean, you can see the CS differential too, right? Deficio, I mean, 20 CS advantage for Caitlyn. She is continuously pressuring in. It's clear where Giants have been investing their resources because Djoko lives here. That's the tent. See that ward? He's wondering why that's in his tent. Why's it gotta be there?
So because Jankos was doing so much topside, Djoko said, you know what, screw it, I'm just gonna go bot lane instead. And that's where we have a Caitlyn that can take turrets. So they get the first turret 11 minutes in. Very important that Giants can get ahead in gold this game. Hjärnan and Wadid struggling a bit, but also playing against multiple members.
An additional support in the form of Djoko currently. And now, we talked earlier about the build we would be seeing coming out from Viktor, and it looks like your prediction was spot on. A lot of mana there in the inventory.
We'll get the Seraph later, Lich Bane, and suddenly he becomes hard to kill, and that's important because Giants' composition is all about getting to PerkZ and Hjärnan and kill them as fast as possible with this draft here. Meanwhile, top lane, it continues to be Wunder who's pushing. Ruin is not getting any help at the moment. He's not going to snowball.
I mean, he has a Tiamat. He has no real option to deal with this armorer. Probably would have liked to have a Black Cleaver, but needs the wave clear just to keep up with Sion right now at the Tiamat. So, bit of an unfortunate scenario. Luckily stays just about even in farm. It's not the end of the world. Gold about dead on even despite the 2 kills going for G2 because of the difference in towers.
And as long as Giants just push out bot lane, they can still move the Caitlyn and the Tahm Kench around. We're looking for an early trade. There is ulti from Betsy. He's moving from the mid lane to get in range, but Wunder he knows and just walks away.
He may have some mana problems as this lane persists, but has 2 biscuits left, so can pop them as necessary to stay up. And you can see Ruin just struggling. The Glacial Augment makes it pretty easy for Sion to just walk away in those extended trades. Oh, and he's been demoted.
Yeah. I think Giants, it's rough to lane swap when your top lane is getting pushed in because you don't get a tempo advantage then. So now it's G2 just getting top lane turret.
And right as Ruin backs, he knows if he tries to TP to this tower, there might be a Skarner there waiting for him, so he's not going to get the chance. Tower may have gone down soon enough anyway, so Wunder just continues to push. They will use it to grab the free tower, give themselves a gold lead, 1K in the favor of G2.
Waiting for that first fight where Giants can utilize their backline dive. Djoko's early game damage is very high. Meanwhile, mid, they're trying to see if they can do anything against PerkZ. That's a no. Continues his free farming. So because they had this top lane pushing against them, Giants couldn't really lane swap properly. Could maybe try Tahm Kench ult into the lane and catch out Wunder, but it is difficult. And in the end, it is the slow game that G2 were hoping for.
Yeah, we're approaching level 11 now for Betsy. We have it, so Djoko at level 8. I mean, really thought there might be more action. Really not the snowball, the setup the Giants were hoping for. First item still horribly delayed here for Ruin. Very, very far behind at this point. Only has the Tiamat. Maybe can hope to get a little bit more on his next back, but he's just been forced out of lane so many times. It's
always interesting with Giants. I feel like the first few weeks they could only play late game. Then we called them out on it because they lost a lot of games, but they never got to late. Teams were just too good now at playing early game. And then last week they actually showed really good early games, especially with the Kalista. Then Kalista gets nerfed for this patch on 8.4. We don't really see her anymore. Giants now yesterday fell behind against Memento and Rocket. We've got to see this game where they have to try and execute this composition that is actually pretty hard to pull off. And so far they've not been able to get a big lead. They will wait for Mountain Drake on bottom side to get it, but that just buys a bit more time for G2.
We also talked a lot about kind of question marks for G2, about Jankos and G2 opting to give up to Tahm Kench, but at this point the game just really has not been a problem. Giants really haven't had the opportunity to group up. Still very much this extended laning phase, although G2 clearly the ones coming out on top. Gold lead still starts to shrink once again. Cannot maintain the 1K advantage. Those could struggle here. Could get taunted up with the flash out immediately. New flash back from Betsy. Both sides.
Betsy did not have to flash. He had a Tahm Kench right next to him. Ends up using a very defensive flash here. Everyone is kind of setting up for a potential dragon fight, but no one got to fully commit to it yet.
PerkZ burns ulti as well. Clearly not interested in having a 5v5 right now. Just wants to push the wave away.
Yeah, PerkZ's build is very slow, so he's actually extremely weak at the moment with these items. Not a lot of extra damage coming on his side, but they are forcing Giants out. Betsy no flash because he used it for no reason at all before.
And it's very risky, you know. Giants maybe want to contest for a dragon if G2 try to go for it, but fighting Skarner on a shrine at a single item, very strong champion based on skills alone, especially with the Emax.
Hjärnan is getting to the bot lane turret. Ruin doing the same top on his side, and Ruin, oh, he's TPing in behind him now. They are looking to force it. Galio ulti is ready.
He's there and available. Ruin looking for the hunt. Djoko going to use the ultimate onto Jankos. Jankos trying to run for his life. He is now unstoppable. Caitlyn ult there to back up the damage, but Wadid is here as well. Djoko going to flash over, looking for a bit more. That's the first kill. Suddenly Hjärnan is the one in trouble. Instantly going to get taken down. Tries to make it out. Gets pulled right back. 2 kills for Giants. Explosion of action.
Well, the moment Wunder's top lane, Ruin TP'd in behind, and Hjärnan tried to push in, so he got caught out. Jankos used the flash earlier. That's exactly what Giants need. A few kills, another Drake, see if we can get some damage on another turret. Top lane tower is really low. Mid lane tower is an easy objective for them. And they need to continue the snowball here.
Absolutely.
Not sure how Jankos, I think Jankos walked in, like he was behind him here, and then he realizes, okay, it's hard to get out because of TP, and he's just kind of caught behind enemy lines. And same thing for Hjärnan, actually. Good play from Giants. Using Tahm Kench ulti, TP from Ruin, and then ult, and you're not getting away from that one. Nice play by Djoko. 2 kills, Drake. Important in a very slow game that only favored G2.
Yeah, now that the map is starting to open up a little bit more, it's a little bit easier to find these picks with the Kled, with the Galio, isolated members of G2. So G2 still has to give respect over, even when they got that cozy, comfy first 15 minutes of the game.
Then we get the Righteous Glory from the Olaf, so he's even faster. Giants get to put the bot lane to top side to get a turret. G2 eSports still want to wait a lot longer in this game. And Baron is spawning soon. Giants can always start it and turn, just use it to force a fight on their side. Trading turrets for now. Mid lane turret taking quite some damage as well. And PerkZ, 202 CS. The mana items, while it's slow scaling, once you hit 3 items, you're insanely strong.
He's taking his time too, not bothering to complete anything, happy to keep scaling up on the tier. Doesn't need the perfect hex for quite yet. And G2 actually going to siege up on the tier 2 tower. Really going to have a real hard time defending this one. The Galio is on the way. Djoko has the Predator active if they want to try to push for this one. They're backing off from the fight though. Not
they have no way to carry.
Taking it.
No, they have no way to carry. G2 right now ahead in the play. Getting bot lane turret, almost killing the tower. Wunder's now hitting mid lane. He's for a second. Tense moments. Giants, G2 dead even in gold. Giants just want to fight so badly where they can kill PerkZ. Like, they just want to pop everything. Predator, ulti from Kled, Galio ult, and then you're on PerkZ and he can't get away. But they're not getting the fight at the moment.
And I just, honestly, Deficio, I just want to see it at this point. What does Predator, Righteous Glory Olaf look like when sped up by a Kled ultimate? How fast
the animation can't follow.
Oh, well, Predator is going to come out. They are
There
trying
we
to
go.
take down PerkZ, immune to CC, but backing off. Taking the flash in the exchange.
So now you're definitely ready for the next one if you're Giants. Baron is spawning in just a minute's time. Started early, turn instantly for the fight. It's a way if you want to take a little bit of a gamble and go for an aggressive play. Hjärnan is weak. He's not going to do anything at the moment. PerkZ is still scaling on his side, and no flash for the next fight.
Hjärnan, though, and the rest of G2 still being diligent about their vision control. They know PerkZ is in a bit of a tough spot, but they know also that Giants need to reset. Still need to wait on those cooldowns, the Ragnarok, the Predator, before they can try again.
Also have to remember, if PerkZ is alone mid, Kled can walk straight down mid lane and just ult. Like, doesn't matter there's a tower. They can kill him in like 2 seconds.
And unlike Sion ult, it targets. The second you're in range, it's going to go. Sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing, but nice. PerkZ would normally be able to sidestep or get away from some of those engage options.
It's all about G2 protecting Baron to buy more time. PerkZ is gold at the moment, 1800. Can go back, get a Lich Bane, or upgrade something else.
G2 battle of survival still, whereas Giants, it's the battle against the clock. We talked about it. I wrote it in giant letters. Deficio, kill PerkZ. That's the objective for Giants. Haven't been able to do it yet, but they're set up to do so now that the flash is down. Only 2 kills so far for them in the game. Some Drakes to back it up, but I feel like it could be a very, very difficult game if Viktor just gets to sit and see.
As long as they can still play around Baron and force a fight there, Giants can get to the backline and kill them. Black Cleaver is now ready for Ruin, so it's going to be a lot stronger when dealing with the tank in the bottom lane. Still probably won't be able to kill Wunder. It's pure 1v1. But the Kled is here for team fighting anyway. Okay, Baron control. Remember, started, turn for the fight.
Taking the Shrine away as well. Skarner will not get the additional movement speed, mana regeneration, etc. It's just going to get poked down. He can still clear the wave, though. It's the problem, of course. We remember the good old days. Viktor is here in the mid lane, Deficio. He presses E, the minion wave dies.
And you get these really slow mid games when one team just wants to scale and the other team is afraid of playing a little bit too aggressive. They don't want to risk throwing away what could be a potential advantage for them. So they give it a few minutes before they're a little bit more healthy for potential Baron, maybe get another Mountain Drake and then do it. So it's okay if you are Giants as long as you then do not lose the following team fight. Because now you're putting yourself a little bit on a timer here as Giants, where you are at risk of simply going into the first fight like Misfits did earlier today, lose that fight, and then suddenly the enemy team just outscales you completely.
Falling apart. And it feels like the longer they wait to take this gamble, to pull the trigger, to find this engage, kind of the higher the stakes get because their team is not set up to scale. And you can see now, interesting adaptation here. First off, we have the Righteous Glory coming from Djoko, which I love.
That was expected, yeah.
Betsy in the mid lane. Talk me through this one, Deficio.
Luden's Echo, of course, in this case here, gives a ton of extra mana now, will give you a good 20% cooldown reduction for him, and still gives you that extra burst damage when you actually fully proc it. So a lot of extra CDR for Betsy, a lot of upfront burst, a little bit more poke when he lands the Q, which the patch notes said this is for poking. That was basically it. Because it gives you mana, CDR, and AP, and then the bonus damage when you actually hit something. So I guess it makes sense. Land Q, poke, and then dive in and try and get the kill.
It's good to know that's where your insight comes from, is directly from the patch.
I read the top line and it said, this is for poking, and I said, this is for poking.
There you go. Hjärnan poking on the Djoko. Djoko not too happy about that. Does have to store himself in the belly of a catfish, so...
G2 just keep doing the right thing. Get wards around Baron. Force Giants to buy 5 control wards and actually fully clear it out, or keep stalling. Giants right now have 2 control wards in the inventory. That's it. That's not how you play this. Get Mountain Drake though, and then go for Baron.
Ruin now trying to find one.
Ooh, they might get it.
Pull him back. Tahm Kench is there as well. Will do a lot of damage to the Sion if he gets the opportunity. Bear trap on a rope now pulled back.
G2's going to kill some vision.
G2 might be going to start the Baron.
No, they just kill the wards.
That's going to be double Mountain Drake. This is exactly what you talked about Giants wanting. Here's an opportunity. Wunder is going to go down. Are they just going to go for the Baron?
I mean, they can, yeah. They can just go Baron now. If G2 shows up, turn around, pop Righteous Glory and Predator, and just kill PerkZ. Few seconds on that flash. Just go straight for it, start it, and force the fight.
3 minion dematerializer stacks. If Giants are able to grab this, that's all that's stopping the super empowered cannon minions.
There we go. G2 shows up. PerkZ' flash is ready in just a second.
Kled is here. Has ultimate. Djoko ready as well. Are they going to look for the turnabout? He is just going to run in. Ragnarok it through the team. They're going to go right in the middle of everything. Galio coming down in an instant. But they haven't killed anybody. PerkZ is still alive. They've burned everything, and nobody has died. G2 is holding on.
Oh, that sucked. They didn't get to CC anyone. PerkZ just ran out.
I've never
He didn't even have to flash.
So many people push R and have nothing happen to Deficio.
No one managed to actually slow down or CC someone. So when the Galio ulti came in, G2 just walked out. That was the entire combo that Giants drafted towards. And they got 2 summoner spells from a support and Jankos flash.
It's the little victories, Deficio.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so not great.
Well, we should probably replay that because it could actually be the entire game if G2 doesn't die to these engages, and PerkZ is now getting even stronger. They can still go back to Baron. Luckily, Righteous Glory and Predator, not a long cooldown, can do the same thing again. 30% cooldown reduction on Betsy at the moment, so his ulti will be ready fairly soon. That is one of the good advantages of the Luden's Echo, giving 20%. Maybe the next one will be better.
Yeah, but we're starting to get that scary point for the Victor. You talked about Lichbane, it's done.
Still, okay.
Talk about Archangels, so also on the table.
They pop everything. They need someone who can actually keep a member in place. They just run straight into Wadid. He flashes out, and they didn't get any CC of anyone else. That, of course, is one of the things about Olaf and Kled. It is not easy to lock down a target. You need to land, of course, access for slows, and then you got to pull someone back as the Kled. But as long as flashes are available, G2 can get out of the initial engage. Betsy might have to hold his ulti. Wait for the actual fight to break out when they are in the back line, and then ult in. If you do it instantly, you might see G2 just run away.
Deficio, it's not coming together, I think, the way the Giants want it to.
You're not believing?
Well, here's the thing. I'm willing to believe because I see the potential, and I generally love comps where Olaf runs players the best. But it feels like the execution isn't quite there for them, and it's not really a mistake they can afford to make. Now, is this a sign of desperation when they start up the Baron like this, hoping to kind of sneak this one away?
Yeah, I think sneaking it away, like, they can try, but this ward outside the Baron pit, because they didn't sweep and didn't put a controller out there, will just continue to give G2 vision. Instead, started with the entire team and turned for the fight like we saw before. Because that's what the comp is built for. Maybe to try mid here. This could be good.
Going mid, looking for the play onto PerkZ. He's now running for his life, but Ruin is going to the middle of everything. This could be the engagement they want. PerkZ is going to get locked up and knocked down. Giants pull the trigger. They make it work. Hjärnan's next on the menu. That's how you do it. Bye-bye, Jankos. Giants taking control.
See, you just got to keep believing, Drakos. If they keep trying, eventually they're going to get there. This was not a play at the Baron itself, but instead Ruin towards the mid lane, plus Tahm Kench ulti. Giants took their time, but they finally managed to use their composition to secure a big, big win here.
That's what we wanted to see. It finally came together. What happens the first time PerkZ dies? Written here, it says kill PerkZ. They do it, they get a Baron.
There we go. And now, they don't have a ban off command. But, yeah. I mean, they don't... I mean, they didn't have to get it.
You don't?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. You technically don't have to. It just makes this a very untraditional comp in the current meta.
It just auto-purchased when you went back with enough money.
They can get one later, the Tahm Kench.
But the good news is they now get to laugh at Wadid, who has 3 dematerializer stacks, which he won't get to use.
Ah, that's how you counter the dematerializer.
You just don't take banner of command.
And you just win team fights instead, because that is still a way to win League of Legends. You don't have to win through banner of command.
The meta is evolving before our eyes, Deficio.
And I'm glad that this morning We watched LCK and we saw an Olaf and we said, oh, this looked pretty good with Predator. We kind of ran at them and killed them. And then Olaf comes into the EU LCS. Of course, it's Djoko doing it.
Quintessential Olaf player.
And now he's on 2 kills, 2 assists. He just managed to kill the enemy team. He will do it again because the same thing will happen in the next team fight, especially because PerkZ no flash. PerkZ might really need an hourglass later, but it's going to take some time before he's there.
And he wants to finish the Archangels, right? And once he does finish it, he'll get a nice hefty shield when he upgrades the Seraph's Embrace. Additionally, the Siphon Power will give a good shield as well, but there's just too much damage. There's too much backline threat here.
Keep going, Giants. I believe in this. I believe in this draft. I want it to work. We've seen one successful engage and one unsuccessful engage, but who cares about the unsuccessful one now? Because they just turn around mid.
The one that they got them Baron, so clearly that's one you should be concerned with. Now Ruin in the side lane, going toe-to-toe with Hjärnan, not going to be able to get much more pressure. Checking on bottom as well as Galio pushes in. Giants splitting across the map. They can 1-3-1 quite comfortably right now.
And if someone gets left alone mid, they can just dive him. With Djoko here, zone them away, get another turret. Like it, Giants. Big goal lead for them. They got the 3 early Drakes.
Giants right now. 6K, 7K goal lead. This is quite impressive.
And second game in a row where G2 on this patch is saying we want to scale, we want to pick for late game. We know the enemy team can jump us, but we think we can survive it. Second game in a row now, but that has backfired, and they are falling very far behind. It's on Giants trying to finish it. Hjärnan fighting Djoko. Nothing happens from that one, but now we might get a re-engage. Here's Kled.
Oh, here comes Kled. Has marked it up. Wadid now running for his life. Is it still going to connect? It is going to get pulled into Wadid. He tries to get something, but the immediate joust out takes room to safety. No wave there for Giants to follow up. G2 now backing off as Betsy continues in the mid lane. And Deficio, when we look at the standings, Giants actually own the head-to-head versus G2 right now. And look, 6-7, that's pretty far away, but we look at it after this game, it could be 7-7 and 8-6. Oh, now pulling back, though. Maybe this is the turn and burn. Going into the middle of the team, Djoko has now activated. They're trying to find somebody. Galio does come in. It's going to be very hard to lock anybody down. Ruin is off to the side. He leaps right in the middle of the fight. Wunder, though, ready for the turn and burn. But the entire lineup is here. Steeelback is uncontested on the backside, landing free hits in, and no one goes down on the side of Giants. They grab their free pick, they walk away, and they are all so low.
Oh, it was not the kind of engage Giants normally would look for with they're the ones engaging onto G2, but they're far enough ahead to turn this one around and kill Jankos again. Giants, there's a Clown Drake they can grab. Should actually get it as fast as possible so that the Elder Drake spawns a little bit earlier for them, because they can keep starting an objective, force G2 to show up to fight, and then just turn with the engage. That's just an easy way to get G2 out of the base. So they want to get Elder Drake on the map fast, and then of course they want to go towards the Baron that spawns in a few minutes. Meanwhile, on G2's side, PerkZ is still not sitting with completed Seraphs, and he will also have to skip it. Yeah, Seraphs?
Seraphs. My voice is breaking. Your English is...
it's the potato, man.
Yeah, it just gets in there sometimes.
He wants the Archangel, as we watch Jankos die. Archangel.
There you go. We got it. But guys, you can see the team fight. Lots of ultis burn. And this is the thing about Giants team comp, is it's very clear what they want to do at all times. And it's every team fight that goes on Giants' terms should function the exact same way. Someone gets in, Betsy follows up, people on G2 die. But G2 know this, so they know what to expect.
I'm a little bit surprised PerkZ wanted to avoid stuff so quickly. It's not that there's not a lot of MR on the other side, but it's more just... It feels to me it's less about PerkZ having a lot of damage and more about PerkZ surviving the initial engage. Because once the engage is done, Kled ulti's on cooldown, Olaf ulti, and Galio ulti on cooldown, like, their comp does kind of fall apart on the side of Giants. It's very much click ult to win. So typically you don't actually need a lot of damage on G2's side, you just need to survive the start. But PerkZ is going for the full squishy build. Not getting the tier fully upgraded just yet. It is fully stacked, it's probably been for a while, so he's not sitting there with a giant shield to keep him alive, and he just valued getting more DPS. So yeah, he's playing it risky, the reward might be high.
And we're going to find out, right? Because this is a game where one team fight leads to a Baron, another one. And if it's decisive, 4 members drop 32 minutes into the game could very well end.
Oh, Djoko's coming behind now.
for the flank, trying to find the sideway. Jankos might just be the sacrificial lamb. Wunder's actually going to body block as the team tries to follow up. Betsy is going to get knocked up. It's going to stop them from going in, but Ruin is still alive and well. Wunder still going to look to be the sacrificial lamb.
But that ulti's
back. Now trying to follow up. PerkZ getting locked out of the fight. Betsy goes golden, buys a bit of time, tries to knock back. PerkZ could be in trouble, does manage to land the taunt, but is now running for his life, is going to live for now. Playing on the razor's edge as Ruin remounts. Wunder goes down, nobody else dies.
Giants won the fight here, but we have to look at summoner spells. PerkZ saved his flash. So he can use that for the next fight, which will be around the Baron. Double mountain for Giants, Baron spawning 30 seconds. They tried another big engage mid, and we did see Betsy here hold the ult a little bit more. So what we talked about before, if he uses it instantly, D2 might be able to just run away before he lands. But he's holding it, he's waiting for the right moment when there's a potential fight actually, and then he uses it.
And I like that you're praising Betsy there, but to be fair, Wunder did chain CC him for multiple seconds, so he couldn't actually...
Well, you can use it when they fight, like the actual engage happens. If he clicks it instantly, he obviously can just fly in before someone can CC
That's
him.
true, that's true.
But that's what I mean, like him actually delaying it a little bit.
It worked.
Seeing as they don't have a lot of ways to lock down G2 before the Galio arrives.
Will it be enough though? Can they keep this going? Can they rinse and repeat? Their ultimates are available, the Predator is available. It goes. Rest of G2 have to be careful.
Look at Ruin, waiting a few seconds for ult. He sits to the side again. This is how they got the first kill on PerkZ. Where he comes in from the side, attacks him in the mid lane. They're starting Baron. They can't really turn easily here because the two members are in mid.
6K, dropping lower. Djoko looking for it. Jankos is there. They are just going to try to back off. Targamas is in trouble, though. He's going to get pulled back. Betsy now trying to find a way into the fight. Hjärnan tries to jump out, but does get knocked up. Betsy now backing off. Djoko right in onto PerkZ. They're going to try to take him out. Steeelback not going to be able to land another auto. Ruin, suddenly caught in the middle of this fight, will get stunned up. Has the GA available. Going to cleanse out. Immediately the knockup follows. New side able to find the engage they want.
Close fights. Ulti currently on cooldown for both Djoko and Betsy, but flash was used by PerkZ. Next fight is where they're going to kill him. They're going...
Ruin trying to find it. He's going to connect onto Jankos. Knock down the entire team. Now gets to run in. The movement speed buff is huge. Jankos is dead. The TP now coming in, but Giants have to back away. Low health bars mean the Baron is not theirs just yet.
It's fine for Giants. They get the kill on the enemy jungler. They can still go towards the Baron. Ulti's ready from Djoko in 10 seconds time. No flash on PerkZ. He's currently sitting mid. Giants can also just fully reset, get all the HP back, and then go for Baron. But I think this is fine with the enemy jungler down. PerkZ is on his way. It's 4v5. Djoko's ulti is ready now.
Can they get it? Baron's getting lower and lower. Can they beat the smite for Djoko? The charge up on the sign is going to be enough. Djoko does manage to secure it. Big boon to Giants. Are going to walk away uncontested on that one. G2 with the feint, but not able to do much of anything in that exchange.
All right, well played here from Giants' side. Ready to win another fight. The moment they come back out, Elder Drake is spawning very soon. As we talked about them getting it on the map even faster. They got a ban of command, but of course Dematerialize is there to counter it. I think the next fight, because PerkZ have absolutely zero defensive tools at the moment, they just pop him instantly. Like tower, doesn't matter. Just dive onto him, kill him. He's close though.
It's tense. PerkZ, can he survive? No flash. Cleanse will be up this time though. Could be helpful for the team overall. God, can he survive though? Deficio, this is not easy by any means. And he's been grouped with the team for so long, I feel like he hasn't been able to get the amount of gold that he needs for this to continue on. Let's go with the taunt. Force Hjärnan back. Steeelback autos are really starting to hurt. The Lord Dominix means he hurts just about everybody on the team. Ace in the hole though, of course, not really benefiting, so too much in the end there.
No, Giants are not grouping as 5. They are actually splitting up in multiple lanes. They used the banner mid. Got killed already. So they're not looking for an instant tower dive onto PerkZ. Instead, they are just trying to get all the lanes pushing towards G2's base. They have successfully done it now. Bot lane towers, look, I think just go bot lane. Like every single member bot to secure the turret, get the inhib. You don't have to do what we want.
In Deficio, I mean, we talked about Ruin needing to snowball ahead. It wasn't the early game that got it, but the mid game from Giants, they just tried over and over and over again. And it's just clear that G2's composition right now is just not set up to stop Giants from doing what they want.
Oh, it's too hard to survive these mid-game fights. PerkZ is getting close. Like, he can go back now and fully upgrade the tier. So he gets the Giant Shield. That's big for him. Elder Drake is going to go down in favor of Giants.
And keep in mind, it's not the second Elder Drake. It's still 4 stacks, Deficio. Djoko, you say Olaf doesn't scale very well. Yeah, give him some extra true damage. See how it deals on your back line.
I mean, it's just, his damage does fall off a bit. He can still become very tanky, which is what he's doing in this game. Bottom tower didn't die. I think Giants again should just commit all 5 members to kill that tower and then go back to Elder Drake, but they can obviously just return, take it down. So 1 minute on the Baron buff. G2 cannot afford to lose another team fight. If they do, the game is over. And Giants will surprise us by beating G2. G2 were hoping they could try and keep up with Fnatic and chase them. But they might fall even further behind now in the battle for first place. Oh, Rude.
Do you manage to force out the QSS? Bit of an advantage. Jankos, he's going to use the Righteous Glory. Not going to connect. Tower just goes down. Slow, steady push. This is perfect for what Caitlyn wants.
We'll get bot lane in hip.
Are going to grab it. Mid lane tower in trouble as well. Trying to find the engage. Wadid not going to find it. Giants are bleeding out G2 right now, Deficio. And, I mean, Seraphs is here. PerkZ has hit that point. We talked about it. He's got the Hex Core, he's got the Lich Bane, he's got the Seraphs, and is it just too late?
I mean, they have to be able to win the fights, you know, this late in the game. That's why they drafted this kind of comp on their side. That's why they picked the Viktor mid, saying we will have wave clear plus scaling from our mid laner. But Giants, I just feel like these kind of dive the backline comps with so much damage, they can always win. Like, they never get to the point where it's just impossible to do anything, especially because there is no like Tahm Kench on the side of G2 to instantly deny Hjärnan or PerkZ from dying. So as long as Giants fully execute with their all-in dive onto either PerkZ or Hjärnan and kill them, they can win the fights, 100%.
And normally, like, Braum is such a good option in this meta when there's Corkis and Tristana's hitting down, but all these champions are melee. They just run right past them. They go, nice shield, we'll see you later.
Sucks against the Olaf ulti as well. And I think PerkZ deciding again, just damage. Yes, he has the shield, but there's no hourglass. He's not getting any additional armor either against a lot of physical damage on the side of Giants.
And I feel like maybe we questioned the draft. They gave up the Galio. They thought they could play around it.
I'm just surprised to see them draft so much for the late game in a meta where a lot of teams are favoring the early to mid game. But let's see what happens still. G2 can try and win that fight here in the late game that puts them right back in the game where suddenly they can be the ones pushing towards the base of Giants, maybe secure Baron later. Giants are trying to play it safe. They don't want to risk anything. PerkZ's flash is back ready. That's important.
1 stack left on Dematerializer, so next Baron in theory could be the pivotal moment for this team. 4 stacks still for Targamas, so they're in a good spot defensively if for whatever reason they fall behind. But 11k gold lead, exactly what Giants want at this point in the game.
And another 1-1 week for Giants would be really good for their playoffs.
Pull off ult. Force him back. G2 now on the hunt, though, trying to find an option as Wunder is going to manage to land the knockup onto 1, but instantly Ruin on the backside. The Galio ult, the follow-up. PerkZ not going to get locked up, though. Betsy going to try to make it out, but he is stunned. Ruin is so tanky, able to just push in and threaten this backline. The rest of the team is backing off. Giants are walking away unscathed.
What we see here, when Djoko uses ulti defensively, Giants can't just turn around and take an easy fight. They didn't even get any summoners from their carries on the side of G2 and almost lost the entire fight here. It's always the thing about Giants comp. If they don't properly use Olaf, Kled, and Galio together to kill someone when the fight starts, they will lose. We are in the late game. It's all about Hjärnan and PerkZ being the big carries. We know it's hard for Jankos to do anything because of Tahm Kench denying most of it, but he's just a tank in the front. Same thing for Wunder right now.
I mean, he's a peel tool at this point, right?
Yeah.
You got to hope that you can get Ruin off of your carries, because you're not getting into that backline to kill Steeelback. They have the Tahm Kench to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Betsy used Flash here in the last fight, so for him jumping in, he needs to remember he's a fairly squishy, full AP Galio.
Yeah, but there's a lot of fairly squishy full AP Victors and Tristanas on the other side. Maybe he can take down if they land that perfect combo. I think just proving more and more that you're spot on, Deficio, where execution, if Giants can land it all, if it can come together, if they get that wombo they're so hungry for, just delete G2 in an instant. But it hasn't happened yet, and for now, G2 holding on, trying to get some vision back, trying to make sure that this Baron doesn't go down for free.
I like that we got Knight's Vow, we got Locket on the side of G2. As many defensive tools as possible to survive the initial engage. Or stepping forward next Baron, this might decide the entire game. If Giants can get this plus a fight and win, they take the base, they finish it. If G2 win, on the other hand, they keep going towards the late game, and that's going to be in their favor.
Ruin jumping in. Now trying to run for his life with the ultimate. Wunder, not the target that they want to hit, though. He's now going to try to return onto Betsy. No flash available. You already talked about it. Betsy could just get taken down. Does go gold. Steeelback is zoned out of the fight by the Viktor ultimate. Betsy should drop here. G2 finding a way to turn it back, but what else can they grab? Get on the hunt. Djoko now no ultimate available. 1-2, not going to be able to follow up with the concussive blows.
Once again, it's very hard for Giants to set one engage with all 5 members. Coming from different angles, Ruin getting caught out a little bit, and suddenly it's Betsy who finds himself left alone, and he dies now. It's G2 starting Baron. No ultis on the side of Giants.
Steeelback does so much damage. Djoko has no good way into the pit, but this is not the Olaf with Ghost. He has the flash available. Wunder trying to find the engage into the middle of the team. Hjärnan untouched. PerkZ dishing out the damage as well. This is exactly the fight that G2 wanted. The Wombo has been broken, and Giants lack the follow-up to carry through.
Bot lane, minions are doing a lot of work, by the way. They just killed one Nexus turret. No TP from Ruin, though, so he can't go down and finish the game. And G2 right back at the Baron.
Falling away. Djoko ready to flash over the wall. Can he take it away? No. Jankos manages to secure it, but they're going to be able to take down Wunder. Ruin knocks him out of the fight. They're now trying to pull back. PerkZ with the flash forward. Steeelback, what else can he do? Can he get anything else? No. Immediately taken down. Ruin running for his life. Minions in the middle of the base, but the Baron empowered recall will be the MVP in this game to keep G2 in it.
Oh, that was a big wave, but G2 just made it back in time here. No reason the minion's not doing any damage to the turret.
I accidentally muted myself there for a second, but there's inhibs, as it turns out.
Ah, that's
and
why.
What happens when the stuff comes up is they get really confused.
Yeah, because they don't go back to kill the inhib.
No, they just stand
like,
there.
keep hitting this turret, and didn't take any damage. Just wanted to make sure that everything was how it was supposed to be.
So it was not the clutch Baron back, it was the clutch inhib respawn.
Good inhib respawn time. Betsy's already dead. G2 eSports have the stronger late game. We've covered it 5 million times during this game. And now we're kind of at that point where G2 are controlling it. It's not the same Giants force Baron turn around, take fight. It is instead G2 running as 5-man together and just making sure they are in full control in the team fights.
And you can see the damage in the last fight. A little generous. I feel like that's Steeelback free hitting into the middle of the team. They were able to cut through Wunder eventually.
We might get a death cap for PerkZ now as well, just to give him even more AP. I'm just going to flick it. Yeah, he just did complete it. So he's on 1,100 AP.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's a lot of, you know, the mana stacking gives him extra AP. The death cap gives 40% now instead of 35.
Ah, I see. Nothing like the Death Ray, which will deal 700 upfront damage and a follow-up 1,000 damage. Oh, joy. So, Steeelback, if he ever stands in the wrong place or gets hit by any individual piece of CC, will die instantly.
No flash on PerkZ for the next fight. Might be the last chance for Giants if they can actually jump onto him and kill him. But PerkZ has done a very good job avoiding a lot of these engages so far. Start the Drake and potentially look to turn. Could be one of the ways for Giants, but they need Kled
Second
here.
Elder. We've been here before. We were here last game. Deficio. Giants get this. They are unstoppable in a team fight. Wunder's not going to let it happen. Steeelback does get locked up, but they're not going to be able to get him. Targamas spits him right back out. Now Ruin trying to find his way into the middle of the team. Can they get it? Hjärnan could just get taken down right here, but the Lockets are there to save the team. Djoko does absolutely nothing. G2 able to start to clean up this fight. They're moving forward. They're on the way in for a little bit more. Steeelback's running out of options to escape. Betsy tries to turn and burn. Can they keep their AD carry in the fight? It does not look like it. Hjärnan looking for the bounce house. That's another carry down. G2 take the fight.
The execution from Giants, it just falls apart. They're completely split up again here. Ruin is coming from one side alone. He needs to be with the team so they can go in together. It was Wunder starting the fight, not the other way around. And suddenly, G2 eSports, they have no problems keeping the mid laner alive. And they win another fight. They're going for the base here while Giants are trying to buy time mid, but G2 can just go to finish the game.
Steeelback, head in his hands. He knows it went wrong. They had the comp, they had the execution, they had the lead. But G2 eSports remind us today why they are a top team. Does not matter that their backs are against the wall. They will find the win here.
Tough game. G2 had to stall and stall and stall, and I gotta say, they had to also kind of rely on Giants to fail the execution a few times on their draft. I think a few times Giants could have been more aggressive as 5, when they were really far ahead. Don't be afraid to tower dive, but it's all in the history books for now. G2 got to late game. PerkZ couldn't die. Giants' comp fell, or the execution and comp fell apart, and eventually G2 got strong enough to just win the fights and win the game.
And they figured it out, right? It was a carbon copy, same engage just about every time for Giants. The first few times it worked beautifully, but eventually they figured out Ruin's going to come from one side, the rest of the team's going to come from the other, and we're going to learn how to play around it. And they did. Even in the space of that game, they figured out how to deal with the composition. They outscaled, they brought it home.
And it was a very hard draft for Giants to play, especially once we got to that late game. PerkZ and Hjärnan ended up being the carries on G2, who of course stayed alive. I think Wunder played really well on the Sion, got into the enemy backline multiple times, bought a ton of time for his team, but in the end, no one could kill the Viktor. Took his time with that build.
Yeah, it took a little bit of time.
3 items.
Yeah, it's ultra scaling. Normally we're like, ooh, 80 carries, 3 items, they're at a good spot. You know, Sivir 500 CS win condition. The Viktor 1000 AP win condition is apparently alive and well.
Also means that G2, they hang on. They're still 1 win behind Fnatic, but they're trying to chase that #1 spot.
It's a difficult road, though. I mean, we see both Fnatic and G2, interestingly, relying so much on late game to turn it around, even in a meta where early game feels like it's been so good for just about every other team.
And then you can argue, you know, which one is the most effective, because we have seen the ban of commands not be auto wins. So there are some counters to it, which means teams can go to late game, and if they feel like this other team won't be able to close out the game because they're not good enough or whatever, then suddenly you actually get to the point where PerkZ can carry. And it's always that little debate of what is the correct one. Is it scaling because you know the enemy team can't finish, or is it play more of early game because there is a lot of ways to snowball now?
I mean, right now it feels like for teams that perceive themselves at least as the better team, it feels like the default answer is let's just scale. It's safe, we play back, all we have to do is not die. Eventually we win the game.
And then you have that Vitality Fnatic game where Vitality are so far ahead by playing aggressive early game and could have won the game, obviously, and then maybe it would have been a different discussion. Now, Giants had 10 million ways of winning this game. Didn't find it.
All right, well, our games are not over. The EU LCS post-game lobby begins right after this on twitch.tv/EU LCS. We're going to be joined by PerkZ to take a closer look at what's coming up in the race for playoffs. You can check out your big plays of the week and more on twitch.tv/Riot Games. It is the NA LCS countdown. NA LCS's pre-show with the first match.
Yeah, not a clock just counting down.
Beginning on the hour. Yeah, not to be confused with the countdown clock. Slightly different program.
Slightly different. I think a little bit more happens in the pre-show one than just the countdown clock.
Probably, definitely.
It's a good program. I definitely recommend watching it.
I mean, it's exciting. I'm curious to see what crazy champion they'll justify to us this week. But I'm also excited for PGL because we get to talk about our crazy playoffs race. Deficio, like, have we... Okay, we've made a lot of playoff predictions across PGL and Euphoria.
We got Splice in it. That seems pretty good right now.
You had it, and then but...
You joined later.
I did in the Splice train. But now I still don't feel like any of them feels 100% correct. Ever.
It's hard. A lot of ups and downs, you know, teams winning, then losing. I thought Giants was going to get a 1-1 here and then be in a really good spot for playoffs, but it ends up being a 0-2 week all of a sudden, which of course is really rough when Unicorns are winning so many games in a row. So those are 2 of the teams fighting to secure a top 6 spot. A lot can still happen. I think the team that actually it looks the hardest for right now is Schalke.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough.
I know, it's kind of crazy, right? Well, as a reminder, we are about to head over to the EU LCS post-game lobby. That is on twitch.tv/EU LCS, joined by PerkZ, talking about the race for playoffs, checking out big plays, more topics as well, talking to all things EU LCS. Meantime, twitch.tv/Riot Games, NA LCS countdown. That's the first match coming up in the beginning on the hour. So, in the meantime, it is time for us to hop over to the post-game lobby, so we'll be sure to see you over there on twitch.tv/EU LCS.
We're going there now, guys.